Hi guys, Mrs. Woodrow Rosenberg here, and I'm going to go ahead and go over questions number 2 and 3 from our most recent PSAT assessment, Lessons from the Torpid. The reason why I'm going over these two questions together is because number 3 is asking us for textual evidence to support our answer in number 2, so they're connected. So I wanted to do some of the strategies that I would use for these together. If you got one of them right and you're just looking to redo the other one, thank you for your patience. So number 2 asks us, it is reasonable to conclude that the main goal of the scientists conducting the research described in the passage is to. So what they're asking me here is they want me to make a conclusion. What logical conclusion can I draw based on what was discussed, the research that was discussed up in this passage? Okay, so thinking about the research done with squirrels hibernating, bears hibernating, and why that research was done, what conclusion can I draw? And so what they're asking me to do is draw a conclusion. So I'm going to type here maybe I'm not going to type here. What logical conclusion can I draw? Okay, so they're looking for what I can say based on what I've read. So here are my choices. A, that it was to learn how hibernation patterns of bears and squirrels differ. B, determine the role that fat plays in hibernation. C, illustrate the important health benefits of exercise for humans. Or D, explore possible ways to prevent human diseases. So what I want to think about as I answer this question is, what was the main goal of the research? Okay. Now, as I think about what I've read, I think about the introduction paragraph, them discussing all of this research, and when I look at the conclusion in the graph, I do know that even though it talks about the patterns, the hibernation patterns of squirrels and bears, I'm not going to use this choice. The whole reason the research was done was not to talk about the differences in hibernation patterns of bears and squirrels. The author that wrote this, that wasn't the main focus. So I'm going to cross that choice off. What I need to think about now is, what logical conclusions can I draw about the research? Why did the author provide this research? Was it to determine the role that fat plays in hibernation? Was it to illustrate the important health benefits of exercise for humans? Or did they provide this research to explore possible ways to prevent human diseases? I'm going to make my choice, and then I'm going to go ahead and go down to number 3. It says, which choice provides the best evidence for the answer to the previous question? So I'm going to go back and look at these lines to help me choose textual evidence to support what I chose here. Now, if I couldn't pick something here because I have no idea what this article was about, go ahead and look at these different choices. This gives us 4 paragraphs we can look at. One of these 4 paragraphs contains the main purpose of the research. So I don't have to go back and reread the whole passage. I can just look at these chunks if I struggled with number 2. If I got number 2 correct already, I can just go ahead and look at these to find the evidence that supports that statement. So I'm going to go ahead and look back at lines 1 through 5. Lines 1 through 5 are right here. And it says, understanding how hibernators, including ground squirrels, marmots, and bears, survive their long winter's nap may one day offer solutions for problems such as heart disease, osteoporosis, and muscular dystrophy. So that was my first chunk of textual evidence. My second chunk is lines 10 through 13. And that is right about here. It says, fat is where it's at for the hibernator, says Matthew Andrews, a molecular biologist at the University of Minnesota Duluth, who studied 13-lined ground squirrels. You bring your own lunch with you. Packing lunch is necessary because the animals go on the world's strictest diet during the winter. So I'm going to stop there because I know I got to 13 because I got to 15. So that's my second choice. My third choice of textual evidence is line 31 through 35. All right, and that is down here. That's right about here. It says, to see how fattening up affects Scandinavian brown bears, Frobert and his colleagues ventured into the wilds of Sweden following signals given off by radio transmitters or GPS devices on tagged bears. All right, that's my third choice. And my last choice for textual evidence choices is 42 through 46. And that, I believe, is up over here. So that's this area here. And it says, once a bear is under the tranquilizer's influence, which takes about 5 minutes, the scientists have 60 minutes max to get the animal from its den, weigh and measure it, draw blood samples, and do minor surgeries to collect fat and other tissue. The bear is returned to its den by minute 61. So I'm going to go ahead and choose the textual evidence that supports number 2. Now, if I didn't know number 2, I'm going to look at those 4 paragraphs and pick, okay, thinking about those 4 different chunks, which one was the main goal for research? Okay, so as I look at my choices here, I do know that I can cross one off. Lines number 10 through 13, where it talks about the squirrels. This whole research wasn't conducted so she could talk about squirrels, so I'm going to cross that off. That textual evidence is not supporting that. So that gives me lines 1 through 5, 31 through 35, and 42 through 46 to look at. I hope that helps. Good luck revising your answers, and thank you.